Oh, it's too hot here. I'm melting. I'm melting here in Bucharest. It's quite hot. I think I need to get an air conditioning. No, but I'm great. I'm really looking forward to our session.
Good. I'm glad. So for those of you who don't know, this is Harry and Seb Talks. It's our weekly podcast where we talk about a lot of topics, but we're always trying to improve. So this week we've come with another topic to chat about this week. So this week we're talking about employee development. Sorry, I nearly got it wrong.
Development, not engagement. Engagement we had last time.
We did engagement last time. So as Sebastian said, last time we talked about how to keep your employees engaged. This week, we're going to talk about how to continue developing and to develop your employees. So when you've finally got to that point in your business where you've hired staff, how do you make sure that they continue growing and they're learning the skills that you want rather than not learning and then leaving? So Sebastian, how do you develop employees? It's quite a big question.
Okay, good question. I would say first step is the owner should develop himself, because in order to lead people, it's not that you learn leadership at school or managing people at school. You learn how to socialize with them, but I haven't had leadership in primary school or in high school. So if you haven't studied it, for example, I had international business administration, which a part of it was HR, where we also had some management models from Gallup, from Switzerland, which is really famous. And you haven't had this, you need to learn by yourself first how to manage people, how to learn people, how to develop people, how to lead them. So I think this is the first step. So focus on yourself, figure more out. There's lots of good books out that tell you how you should be as a leader. Simon Sinek, I think you also read some books of him. There are really nice book about the Minute Manager, it's called. There's an entire series of books. I think I also gave you this with the... You have it there.
Trying to see if I can.
Yeah, come on, check it out. If you find it, maybe you find it. So
explain what it is.
Yeah. So this is an entire series of books with the Minute Manager, which give you ideas how you can learn your employees that they work by themselves. So they tell you the goal that every manager has for their employees is delegation, that you can delegate something, which they also explain in detail, and how to come from this and to learn the employee step by step. And now you can show the book, The 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey. Yeah, a really, really nice, cool book, quick to read. Yeah, this is something that I would recommend. So start focusing on you. And I don't know, do you have anything to add for this for yourself? I
think it's a really good point. Like, we don't actually learn how to lead people until you actually do it. And I think a lot of the time, like, people can get really stuck on thinking that there aren't resources out there that can teach you leadership. But like, some stuff you don't even think about, because you know the mission of your company and you know the vision and where you want to get to. You think if you tell your staff members that one time, then they will remember it consistently. But actually, you need to be reminding your team every week, every day, every month, this is where we're going to get, and this is why we need to do it. And it's something that I only learned recently, but and I think that ties in so well with your point, which is that, if you're not constantly working on your own skills as a leader, to become a better leader, you won't become the really successful leader that you want to be.
Yeah, I think most of entrepreneurs have this in their DNA, this constantly improving. They want to improve something, they want to learn something new, they are triggered by something. So I mean, this should be in your DNA all your life. I met people that are 60 or even over 60. We have one customer that is over 60. I meet with him once per year, an entire day, and he wants to understand everything in Google Ads. So he asked me every question in detail, also for SEO. He wants to understand, he wants to learn, so he knows what he's doing. He's over 60, and he's running still this business, but he knows he needs to understand it in order to know how he can profit from it.
Sure.
So even if you are older, you should think about it. Another good source where you can get some ideas for leadership is harvardbusinessreview.org. On the website hbr.org. They have also some good articles, or maybe you have some articles in your local language, like we have Manager Magazine, for example, in German. So this is something.
I was just going to show on the screen, if you can allow me to share.
Yeah, let me.
Sebastian, I'll share everybody
as well. Yes.
A resource we've just picked up as well is having our own Skillshare account. So Skillshare is similar to YouTube, just a bit more structured, but there's thousands of courses on here in regards to different things that you can learn. And this is a really
flat
great
rate.
Place. Yeah, or a yearly, annually as well. So you can do annual or you can do monthly. I think annual is like, the classic, you get 20% off kind of thing. But this is a really great resource because you can find courses for yourself. But what we're doing as well in our agency is we just give the Skillshare admins, please don't come after me, but we share the credentials with the entirety of our team so that they can then have access to this as well and do any of the courses that they really enjoy.
You have there also, I saw marketing, so you have also like design and leadership, or is it somehow like, is it really broad what you can learn there, like finances and so on, or is it more like really fixed on a few topics?
So just looking at like some of the ones they offer, there's like loads of creative ones, film and video, creative writing, fine art, but then there's also business analytics, freelance and entrepreneurship, leadership and management, marketing, lifestyle, productivity. So there is loads actually.
Yeah.
And I think just making sure that something that I've kind of done at the moment for my guys, like development plans, is choosing the course that they're going to do rather than letting them pick the course they want to do, because I think a lot of the time, like when you have your employees, like they need a little bit of guidance when it comes to what they're learning.
I fully agree. You know the direction of your company. I mean, if you have a vivid vision, they have you give them an idea, but as a manager, I think you should figure out what is the next step for them in their career, and therefore it's good when you choose together with them, of course, not to tell them you have to do big data. I don't care if you are creative, because that doesn't work.
I think that's a really cool thing that you just said, like having a conversation with them where like they're involved in deciding what their development path's going to be as well, rather than just you saying you're going to do this, because it just builds resentment, right? Like they're not going to want to do it then.
I fully agree. And for us, I said it so many times in our YouTube episodes, but for me, this is really important, the development plans, the yearly development plans. With my entire team, I take the time for around 2 hours per employee, and I prepared a development plan where you ask what is the why behind your marketing career. So I want to understand why they are here. What is motivating us? There are other questions like, what is your kryptonite? What is your big, how audacious goal, or how is it called? Big, hairy, audacious goal. Yeah.
Audacious,
and then it's like a SWOT analysis. So they need to reflect on themselves. What are their strengths, weaknesses, threats, opportunities? And then also a bit about digitalization. What, for example, do they fear AI? Do they think it can replace them? How do they see their position in 5 years? So then you have short-term goals, 1 to 2 years, and you have long-term goals, 3 to 5 years. So where we figure out together, I figure out together with them on what things we should focus for him or her to develop. And that's the basic core of the development plan. Right now, I'm doing it still in Word, but as mentioned in the last time, I was looking for some software and I decided for one. Drum roll.
Yeah, here we go.
I decided for a Savvy. I don't know how it's called. Had a really good experience with the guy, with Cornelius. He took the time even for our small startup to speak with me almost half an hour to explain me all the features that the software can do. They are a young startup, and they came also with a good offer for our team, because I also told them, hey, maximum amount per employee is this. If we go higher, it's a no-go for me, because I mean, it needs to be for us okay. It needs to be a balance. So we figured out a solution with a one-time setup fee, and that's how we came up. I can share the screen to show you a
Please
bit.
show us
This
the
is
page.
the other one. 1 second, here it is. So,
Very nice.
this is Savi. So as you can see, there's nothing in because I just got the access. So you have here something with the crows. This is like kind of like the personal development plan. So here you have some cycles. They say the crow cycle is normally 6 months long and repeats automatically. So you can set this here. Send out a notification. It should also have include here Teams. I don't know, I have to speak with them why Teams is not included, but then it can send you the notification there or via email, puts it in the calendar. Yeah.
For those who might be a little bit lost, because maybe they didn't watch the last episode, or they're just looking at this and going, wow, this looks cool. But what's the benefit of using it, Seb?
For me, I tell you what my struggle is. Right now, I had only like a Word document. It was really hard to track the progress on the goals, to have an overview of the team. I mean, it's really nice with this Word, but I want to have a bit more for them, to track them, that they can give feedback, that maybe I can even put an onboarding process there. I will come to this. And I was looking for something more like a bit professional, instead of just a Word document that I send them and to follow up. And I was looking also for a platform that helps me with the reminders and so on, because I have to set the reminders by myself. I could also do this somehow on ClickUp, but it's a bit complicated. And
reminders so that the team do their learning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So this here is, for example, this development plan. They call it here growth. So you can set up the cycle date, and then they are going to remember it. Another thing are the role cards here. So I created one. So what you can do here, because I have still this idea of this transparent career ladder. So that means like, for example, I put here the starting point would be a digital marketing trainee. And then you can add here the competencies. So here I put, for example, the fundamentals of marketing. This would be one competency. And to add up the roles in order to see what competences they need in order to achieve this next role. So they have like career goal there. They can start as a trainee, then they become junior specialist, manager, and so on. And this I can actually create here in this role card thing, which I will do in the next days, but it is currently it's not the priority for me. Then you can have events. This is more for bigger companies. For example, if you onboard 10 employees per month, then you can create an entire event for them. So this is not so interesting for me currently, only when we are bigger. Then you have the journey here, which
it all
loads.
It all looks really cool. And I know you don't have to give away your pricing, obviously, but how much would this cost us for somebody who's running a company and want to use it for their employees?
Depends. I mean, it's roughly between 10 and 20 euros per month. I mean, it depends. If you have more employees, then it's cheaper. I also know they put more things in it, but as I said, I spoke with Cornelius. I told them what is my bandwidth with the budget, and they came up with a customized offer for me. So I guess if you speak with them, they also give you like something that would work for you, because these guys, they know, he told us they were also a startup, so they know how the drill is and with the budgets and so on. And the idea is to, I mean, I will give them feedback for the product. Right now I'm doing a YouTube video for over the platform. So I mean, it's like helping each other in a way.
It's all relative. Yeah. It looks like a great tool. A really
yeah,
cool
here
tool.
you have the journeys. So here you have, like, for as an example, they have some templates here. So here you have the onboarding that you can do, and it's like a stage where you have after here day one, day two, check-in message, 5 questions. You have this buddy system, so you can attach a buddy, and I mean they have until 89 days
Wow.
You know, we were very happy to have you on board for so and so many days. Now we hope that you feel comfortable. How likely are you to recommend this onboarding experience? So it's an entire onboarding process
Wow. Yeah.
automatically running on this.
So you don't even have to worry about it, which is beautiful.
Yes, that's what I mean. I don't have to follow up. The other thing that I wanted to do was this NPS, Net Promoter Score, with the employees. They call it monthly pulse survey from getting the pulse from the heartbeat, you know. So here you have a monthly pulse survey. They integrated this with Google Forms somehow. So you go then on the Google Forms, the employees, they check, and then you can see it on a Google dashboard. This is, I think, a training or something, diversity, equality, inclusion in the RE7 consulting. So here you have like a normal training. I mean, I could also have here the data privacy, GDPR training, or IT security training, for example. Then you have here the templates that you can use: performance review compensation, pre-boarding template, well-being booster. So there are lots of templates that you can use here. I didn't check them. Yeah.
How worth it is it, the amount of money that you're spending for the amount of headache that this is gonna solve?
Ask me in 90 days. I can't tell you. I hope it will help me a lot, especially when we grow bigger, to make this more comfortable. Are the people, I don't have to show you now the people here, but that's how it works. And one other thing that I was really interested in it is this 360-degree assessment. I stop sharing now. So 360-degree assessment, what does it mean? The idea of this 360-degree assessment is it's a system that measures the employee performance from across the company, from different kind of people. So one would be, for example, your colleague that is giving you feedback. The other one would be your direct manager, which would be Alexandra, for example. And maybe another one would be me to give feedback. So that means you get from the entire people that you work around a feedback in order to grow and develop. And this will come in 2 weeks in this survey. So this is another thing I wanted to have, because
Nice.
I think it's really important that they get regular feedback in order to develop themselves.
Of course, and also it's not biased, is it really? Because it's like,
Yep.
yeah, it's not just from you; it's from everybody in the team as well, which is a true 360-degree
Yeah.
system. How do you give feedback, Seb, without upsetting someone?
Not at all. No, joke. Just joke. Normally, I mean, they write there's some strengths to employees in the development plan, and sometimes I don't agree with it. So first of all, you need to know the person, if they are able to receive critics and how to approach them. Maybe for some, I just tell them bluntly in the face, I don't see it like this. Do you have an idea why I don't see it like this? Let them ask them, not give them directly feedback. Or if you don't want to be so direct, you can ask them, why is that so? But because I had this also with our discussions, that they had a totally different, I mean, I just saw the word and I understood something. So I assumed something and it was totally wrong. They meant something totally else. So that's why it's sometimes better first ask them, figure more out about it when they write something down, in order to understand better before you have an assumption and give them something on that. And then they say, yeah, but I meant it this way. And you're like, ouch, that was not so good. So that's how I gave feedback, and always positive feedback. Like, try to make it sound positive. When this person is unorganized, then you can say you are maybe like really creative how you organize your things. And then you can even ask them, do you feel you are organized? And then you can ask them, do you want to have some ideas from me? I mean, you can ask them for some feedback or ideas, and then you can provide them like a solution. You could try this. Or you ask them what type of you are, you're audio person, visual person. Maybe you could try to do it on a post-it on your monitor, or maybe you record, you make a reminder in your calendar, or you use ClickUp or something. So lots of questioning.
I think it's a really good idea. Like,
Yeah.
just giving them like one question I love asking a lot is like, so how do you think this week's gone? You know, and
Yeah.
they can then give you the best feedback, or like, as you said, like asking them to begin with, like, you know, how do you feel you're doing on this education resource
Yeah.
at the moment?
Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing. I
And
mean,
then understanding when to push them when they're being vague. You know, if they're saying, "Oh, well, it's going all right, it's going to go," push them on that and say, like, you know,
yeah.
well, what do you mean by that? And try and really like dig deep, because you've got to come across, you know, at the end of the day, you've got to care about them enough that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can dig deep into it, right? And this kind
Um,
of led me to like the next point I kind of wanted to talk to you about, which is like coaching your employees. So transferring the skills that you may have that you've built up as an entrepreneur, and I guess leveling up your own teammates by doing a bit of like personal coaching with them. So I guess I wanted to ask you, do you do any coaching with your employees?
I would call it coaching what I'm doing with the personal development plan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I talked with my fiance and she was like, yeah, this is coaching what you're doing. And I said, yes, if you say it like this, yes, I think I'm doing coaching. Um, for example, when I compare this now with Germany, in Germany, you have possibilities like from the, how is it called in German? Like it's a government organization for unemployed people. They also offer for people that just finished a study in order to figure out together with a psychologist and tests how their career path could look like. So what I'm doing with my employees at the beginning is kind of like a coaching for their career, a career coaching,
Mm.
which in Germany you could do this if you know that it exists. And in Romania, I think you don't have the possibility at all. So for my employees, this is something really nice and
Mm.
new, and they learn a lot. And I mean, I'm working since I'm 14 years. I mean, I started with vacation jobs and so on, so I have lots of experience. And you can tell them something in their 20s, or if they're even younger, what they can do, or give them some guidance.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And if you make it honest and you also give them some stories from your own life where you were, I think that also helps them. So I would say it's coaching, what what I'm doing for them.
I agree. I agree. Something that we do personally is we do a 1 week, we do a weekly review. So every Friday,
Wow.
I
Okay.
have a one-on-one with the guys, because I've only got two
With
underneath
each,
me.
yeah, yeah. Then this is possible, and I think it's also really good because they are you guys are close. Then if
Yes,
you
and
can do this, yeah,
considering we're a remote team, it's the only time I actually get a chance to chat to them, you know, like in regards to like a one-on-one kind of situation. So it's nice to
yes.
catch up, you know.
I guess you also get really into work and you focus so much on work and you don't have the small talk and so on. So I think it's a really good idea that you are doing when you have this 1 hour, or even I know you also have this team event. So I think this is a good thing to get a bit like relaxed
Yeah,
and
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about other things.
Exactly. And I think the biggest thing in terms of like developing your team, that's like a really important part, is like listening to how they would want to change things within your system or process. So a lot of the time when I've come to talk to them on that Friday meeting, one of my favorite questions to ask them is there anything different that I could be doing right now? I'm really
Yeah,
trying to deploy some humility and figure out, you know, actually, am I doing the right thing as a leader? Is the company going in the right direction? And what do my
yeah,
employees think about it? Because I think sometimes some businesses, they really struggle to see, they just see employees as a resource, right? They're like churning them.
yeah,
They don't
yeah,
really care
yeah,
about them.
yeah,
And that's why they lose them, right? But at the end of the day, like when we actually care about the people who are working for us, I think that's when we see like the greatest amount of growth in like yeah and making sure that they really deliver, because at the end of the day, like we want to put all this time in, right? But what we don't want is to put all this time in and they're like, great, okay, I'm leaving after 3 months, you know, like.
yeah. And I think the development starts with the onboarding experience, what you just showed you. So there's already like a training experience that they see we care about it. I'm providing when I'm having the calls or the meetings. Now I had the meeting before with Laura, our sales manager. Asked her, is there anything else? Do you need any other resources? Like, do you need a book, a video, a training in order to get you more knowledge or things that you need? I mean, is there something from the resources that you are lacking of right now?
Nice.
And what else did I want to say? Regular learning, I think, is a key thing. So what we discussed the last time already, you are doing some regular learning. I have, for example, tomorrow, the guys, I guess they're looking really forward an Excel course.
Ah, nice.
Even the guys from the German agency, two of them will join for Excel course because this is something they don't learn at school or they forget
Wow.
about it. So it's helpful for them to have a big of Excel course and also to gamify the training. So after that, I make a little quiz where I ask them.
Lovely.
And
What
you know,
what's the prize? So
the prize is the winner can do the next training.
yeah, nice, nice.
that's that's the idea. And I call these sessions also micro learning sessions because they are just 1 hour. Because
Mm,
I think if you have an entire day of learning, at you're fried. You
mhm.
can't do it anymore. And the best is to let them do also things by themselves.
I think
Um,
something
yeah.
I wanted to ask, because I think it's a really nice way to kind of round out this episode, is how important is, I know my answer, but I'm interested to get yours, and then I'll add mine on as
Mhm.
well. But how important is developing your team, keeping them engaged? Just to round out this generally large topic that we've spoken about, right? Like, how often should entrepreneurs be thinking about this? What sort of priority should they put it in regards to all the other stuff they're doing as well?
With the learning, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Hard. Really good question. I mean, I do this reflection things, but I believe every day you should learn a new thing, even if it's a small bit. I
Mm,
mean, today you learned about Zevi, or maybe you learned about the scallops thing, what I just mentioned. Just small pieces, but they are little, but step by step you get more and more knowledge, more experience when you try things out. So I believe it's crucial for a company, especially when they want to grow. And I mean, every day you should learn a bit. And if you want to accelerate in your career and your job, you even have to do something in your private time, because if you are in your private time, you are only on other media and you maybe into just saying, for example, I was really into sports and bodybuilding, and you watch on bodybuilding and how to pump up and how to do the exercise better and on food, then maybe this marketing career is just a job for you, but not your what you will do your entire life. Just
mm,
saying.
mm.
Um, so you should be also curious outside of work, and when you get in contact with this at work, if you are not excited, then maybe to rethink if this is what you want to do your entire life, or if you want to change career and you want to become like a trainer or a coach.
Mm, I really agree. And I think to add to that as well, like as soon as you get your first employee as an entrepreneur, you should really be thinking about setting aside like 1, 2 hours a week for them to be learning,
Mhm.
because it's kind of like, I don't know if you ever had it at school, but if you did all the boring stuff for the day, you got to have like playtime at the end of the day at school, and you'd be able to play with the toys and you'd be able to watch the TV, and
Yes, yes.
you get that free time. And I think sometimes like the education part is that really fun reward for employees. So like in as long as they get all of their stuff done in the agency in the day that or company, they can always look forward to the education stuff, because it's like they can just relax, they can watch a nice course, they can make some notes, they can learn, but it's something totally different to what they've been doing day to day, and they
I,
get the
I
opportunity as well to
fully
learn
I
again.
fully agree. And it sets you, I mean, now looking at the competitors, it sets you hopefully apart from your competitors, because you can give them from marketing point of view much better results if you know much more stuff. And I also wanted quickly to share the screen just to show you what I'm sharing with the guys, just to give you ideas. Um, what I'm doing with the guys. Let me check. So this I guess you probably know this one here. That's the
Nice.
Futur.
Yes.
So they have lots of courses. So when you do something like creative skills, like when you have personal development, land your dream job, build your confidence, be your best self, and they are not expensive. This is like you get lots of value from them. And even if you don't have money, just watch the YouTube videos. I think they bring a lot of value to you. Another thing what we are using is Udemy.
Very nice. A
If
bit
you
like
need,
Skillshare, I
yeah,
think.
if you need, exactly, it goes in the same direction. If you need some courses, you are going to buy them. Of course, be aware that these prices they have always like every 2 weeks or something they have cheap prices. So don't buy a course for 100 euros. Normally you get a course that's much cheaper for 5 euros or 10 euros. So watch out for this. If you want to have it more in university theoretical knowledge, not so practical, then Coursera is something that you might learn. You can even earn a degree. Here you can learn certificates,
Nice.
which you can also put in LinkedIn, which is nice. Then this thing is also really marketing. It's not like really a course. It's more like, I mean, here you have some courses, but it also gives you an entire training, like a framework, step-by-step process to implement a keyword research, to perform an article, to write an article, to perform an SEO audit. So it gives you step by step, especially for the beginners. This is really helpful. So they can start from nothing just with this course, and I mean just from this paper, and it explains it to them. And last thing is CXL, which is a more professional approach. It's from the USA. Because lots of things from the USA, they come to Europe and so on. So this is like to get a head start for the other
Nice.
agencies. So you have here marketing courses, conversion optimization, analytics, marketing, mini degrees, and you can also again connect this with LinkedIn. So yeah, this is what we are using for our team, but there are much more things out, and I'm still a big fan of audiobooks and like real books to read.
So finally, Seb, I guess to sort of round out this topic before we move on to our next, how important is employee development? And if people are looking to make a start on this, what is the one thing you'd recommend them to do?
How important, I think, is one of the skills that every employee should have in order to accelerate a career or to set up a business, like the motivation to learning every day and to happy and to be grateful to learn every day. And the other thing was the one thing
for them to start. What's the one thing they could do to start tomorrow once they've listened to our podcast?
Just check out the links and the things that we just posted. What was most appealing for you? And even if you want maybe to have a recommendation for courses, for example, another passion of me is investing, stocks, and finances. Also, I'm into sports and so on. So just leave something in the comments if you want to have another advice. For example, also on Twitter, I found lots of recommendations for books and things. So it shouldn't be torture for you. It should be something that you're enjoying. So start with something you want to learn more, you're enjoying, and just watch it on YouTube. I mean, start for free. You don't have to start with something paying. After you saw something and you enjoyed it, then you can decide you want to go to the next level. Masterclass, for example, is also a great platform to get into a topic by a really big professional.
So that's great, and I would say that as long as Seb's, advice, I would say that employee development is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
If you want to turn your employees into superstars and they can overproduce in regards to the stuff you're setting them. If you want to make a start, I would recommend just start off by having that initial meeting with them, asking them what they want to.
Right. Yes.
Ask them where they want to grow, what their goals are. I think, as you said, finding out more about them, more about their hobbies, their passions, where do they want to kind of grow, and then figure out how you can facilitate that. Whether it's like a development plan like Seb's done, or just something very simple like getting them to do one course a week. But yeah, I think I've really enjoyed this topic about employee
Me
engagement and
too.
development.
And one thing to add, I mean, you ask the viewers can see you ask always great questions, and this is the most important part of a CEO or manager, to ask good questions where the employee or the client and so others, they have to think about it. And I think this is something, and in order to bring them to the development, asking good questions in order to figure out where they want to go with you.
Absolutely, I agree. All right, well, thanks so much for joining me again, Sebastian. Thanks so much for sticking around and watching with us as well. It's been a nice one today.
Yes.
So if you'd like to follow and hear more about Sebastian, you can go on to Instagram, RE7 Consulting, Sebastian Bayer on LinkedIn, and then re7consulting.com for his website. If you want to learn
.ro.
Sorry.
The com is Germany, but it's okay.
I've done this so many times, and I can't believe I just got that wrong.
It's okay.
For me, it's Harry Roper on YouTube, Imaginary Space on TikTok, Imaginary Space on Instagram, and Harry Roper on LinkedIn.
By
Thanks
the way,
again for watching.
is the new website online already?
It's coming.
It's coming. Okay, you let us know when it's ready. I'm curious about it.
Yes,
Awesome.
But until then, thanks so much, Seb. It's been really good fun. And we'll see you all again in next week's episode.
Yes. See you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.